We're so excited to be celebrating 3 of our graduating athletes this season, and they have made such a huge contribution to our women's basketball program. So I'd love to just say a few things about each of them, but then also think about some things collectively, because in terms of where our program is continuing to grow and the direction of some of our younger athletes, the 3 of them have been huge contributors to their development as well. I would like to start with Kaylee Reimer, and each of our seniors this year have had 3 very different journeys to arrive at where they are now in their 5th year. Kaylee, her road has been a little bit more difficult in terms of the highs and the lows of trying to carve a role and a niche into who we are as a team on court. But throughout all that time, she has just been such a hard worker, and the results in school and fitness-wise, in strength and conditioning, all of these things have been such huge standards and high standards for everybody on our team. One of the significant things about each of these players is a word that comes to mind for me when I try to describe who they have been and some of the contributions that they've made to the team this year. And I think the word for Kaylee to me is resolve. Someone who has had that grit and determination to really stick it out. And even though maybe the short-term goals weren't there or weren't met early on, the long-term goals and the ability to step into a starting role this year has really said a lot about who she is as her character. I think of a significant conversation perhaps that I've had with each athlete, and for Kaylee, it happened last season when there was just this, what do we need to do and what needs to happen for you to step into a bigger role? And I think it was a very difficult and challenging conversation. We talked about perceptions, we talked about expectations. And to her credit, and I know this is very difficult to do, there was a lot of ownership that was taken. And we've seen such a huge transformation in who she is, both as a teammate and as an on-court player and as an off-court player, and as someone who has become very enjoyable to coach. We know that from a sport like basketball, it's so difficult to go from not knowing if you're going to get anything to now having really high expectations on you, and she has met those expectations. Kaylee is a woman of faith who has really been stepping into that and trying to discover, how does that impact my team? And we are so looking forward to going to Madagascar together as a team later this spring, and I know Kaylee is going to play a huge role in that. Haley is and has been such a different type of player on our team, and she has brought a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and that is the emotional roller coaster that is Haley Van Ruckel. And when you think about some of the challenge that she's come, again, not a straight line to where we are now as a program in her 5th year, but again, looking at going into the college system first and making a name for herself there, and then coming to a university program and trying to make her mark. And she came and stepped into a starting role and has been wrestling with so many different things in terms of, how do I get to where I want to go, knowing that what I've been at the college level and trying to recreate some of those things at the university level. I think that one of the words that really sticks out in my mind for Haley is compassion, and who she's been as a teammate. I think of the late night phone calls that she gets from teammates. I think about whether it's cutting a teammate's cat's toenails, like who does that? Whether it's driving in the middle of a winter storm to pick up someone who chose to walk through the worst snowstorm of the fall or the winter and needs a ride, and she's always been willing to respond. But I think that there was a key moment for me, even it was just a few weeks ago, that really, I think, embodies who Haley has been to her teammates, especially her younger teammates. And Savannah was not having a great week. Her knee was sore, and she was fairly discouraged with her situation. And on the sideline before an individual, Haley just goes up to her, gives her a big hug, and then does this and then puts it to her knee. And it's little moments like that where you have a first year who is barely trying to survive at times, that they have found ways to thrive because of such a compassionate teammate and leader that they've had on their team. And that's who Haley has been. She has brought joy, she has brought music, she has brought just a great, fun environment to our team, and that has made practice more bearable at times, that has made road trips fun. But the reality again is, where we are now, in part, is because of that compassion that she's had for younger teammates and teammates that are struggling and people that just need a helping hand. And so it's been significant when we look at some of the younger athletes and how much they are thriving now in the second semester. And it has to do with, these 3 seniors and the impact that they've made on the lives of their younger teammates. And then we go to Jaden, and I think of a word that may describe or embody who she's been to our program, and I would probably use the word wisdom from that perspective. She has always had to step into much bigger roles, maybe even when she's been prepared for them. And I think about her as a first year, starting right off the hop, and it's probably one of the most unique conversations that I've had with the first year after their first year, having started every single game. And the comment she made was, maybe I shouldn't have been starting. And just that humbleness that she has, that willingness to learn, but wanting to learn from others and to be great. And for our competition levels to exceed what we were maybe expected this season, for younger ones to step into such a bigger role, it's taken someone like Jaden who's really had to guide and to lead and to nurture and to motivate and to set the very high standard that she's had since day one. One of the comments that I've made to the team about Jaden in the past is that she wants to win, but more than anything though, she's willing to do whatever it takes for the team to win, but not at the cost of who she is as a person and her values. And the one thing that I've really respected about her over the last 5 years is the fact that she has always put this program first. She has been so humble. Many people may not know this, but just a few weeks ago or earlier in this season, Jaden joined a very elite group of 1,000-point scorers in our women's basketball program. And we don't make a big fanfare about it. She's not necessarily one that goes and makes sure that everybody knows kind of the level of excellence that she's been playing at over the last several years, but that's who Jaden is. She comes in and she gets the job done. It's been such a pleasure to see her develop from someone who was described as a great athlete to a great athlete who plays basketball, to a great basketball player, to a great basketball player and leader. And watching that evolution has been just a humbling experience for me as a coach as well, to kind of see someone who has been able to find this place, a place where she can excel and grow and develop. And so with all 3 of these athletes, we think about the resolve and the resilience that this team has demonstrated this season, and we think about the compassion that our younger athletes have experienced, and we think about the wisdom and the leadership that we've had. And we wouldn't be where we are today with this season, with this group, if it hadn't been for these 3 leaders. We think about young athletes learning how to grow and develop when, again, we went into the season as a team that could score maybe 45 points a game to now averaging 70 points a game. That doesn't happen without 3 athletes who have demonstrated what it takes to train in the off season, putting yourself out there, risking there when it comes to reffing and coaching, and all the little things that they've done in between to make sure that everybody feels that they're a huge part of what we're doing here. I would be remiss if I didn't mention 3 local families as well, the Van Ruckels and the Reimers and the Gills, who have done such an amazing job of being hospitable and creating such a safe space for our team. We know that without you, people would have been homeless at times, whether it's August camp or Christmas camp, or being able to host baking cookies or Christmas parties or pool parties or fundraising events, finding and bringing food for the team room and getting us a bigger fridge, and all these little things and acts of service. It's no surprise that your 3 daughters have been such an incredible part of our program because the families that they come from have supported us so immensely over the last few years. So we want to thank all 3 of you. Thank you for your contributions to the women's basketball program. The younger ones will be ready to step into much bigger roles next year because of the legacy that you've left. Whether it's in the classroom, all 3 of you are academic All-Canadians. Whether it's in the weight room, some of you, your names, especially Jaden, your name is on that record list over and over again. Regardless of whether it's on court or off court, I really hope that the younger athletes are able to express their gratitude towards you for all the little things that you do on a daily basis to help us be who we are. We've had so much fun this year. I'm looking forward to several more weeks of great basketball with you. We're looking forward to an amazing transformative trip to Madagascar later in the spring. And I know that we are going to have some significant moments as a program, and your contributions are a big part of that. So on behalf of myself and the staff and our team, thank you so much to Kaylee, Kaylee, I said Kaylee with a K, Haley with an H. I know we always get confused with your names. And Jaden, and you know what? A lot of what you've done has lived on, but the one thing I'm really looking forward to is no more country music in practice. Like, it's gone. You guys graduate, the country music is going with you. I'm sorry, younger athletes, but I've worked really hard to try to get that into Thursday's practices, and it's basically beyond me. So enjoy your music for the next few weeks. crank it up if you have to, and then it'll be no country again after you guys graduate. So thank you again. Let's keep getting it every day in practice like we have been, and good things are still to come. Thank you.